the in crowd.
JG, don't be trying to ask me no shock jock questions,
Man, we chilling today. I love the conversation that's already happening. So.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. You can ask me whatever. I might not answer everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I know, right?
But I will say I really enjoyed the experience watching y'all work last night. I love coming to markets and just learning the canvas, the lay of the land. And, man, there was just a lot of women in that club last night, man. It was a great vibe. You was on point. Your man Cash Rules, man. I had to at one point turn and look at him. Man, what is he doing over here, man? This dude was his rotation. He was going in and out of records every 20, 25 seconds. Yeah, he was fast. He was but he was picking the right songs too. That was the other thing. His curation was really good. I want to hear the other kid mix too. I can't think of his name. The one who had the braids and this
DJ Walt.
Walt.
Yeah, Walt.
Walt? Yeah, I want to hear Walt mix too, man.
Yeah, Cash Rules, and he's young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's like the youngest in charge now, as we would say.
Oh, okay.
He graduates tomorrow from MTSU.
Oh, I'm going to shoot him a text. I'm going to shoot him a text. Yeah,
he'll love that for sure. He been doing his thing too, man. Cash Rules. My question is more so, what did you expect coming to Nashville?
That's a great question. The first time I really came to Nashville was last year for the Holy Smoke Fest with Mike LV. And man, bro, I thought I was going to see the Grand Ole Opry, you know, a lot of barbecue stands, a lot of cowboy hats. You know, you still see those things, right, but it's other things that you see, you know, that's surprising. Even coming to this Holy Smoke Fest, just seeing how tight-knit the faith-based community is out here, and what they're able to do with that fest is it's so diverse in there, bro. Every age group and every walk of life. So you see multiple national ethnicities in there. And then you see an ecosystem where, you know, they created, you know, all the vendors that are set up, you know, they're supporting each other, man. I think it's a microcosm to what we can do as a community when you see the same community pouring back into the same community. Yeah. Everybody gets the profit. Everybody gets to grow. It starts to expand. Last night after your club, Jar 10, I was standing outside with one of the security guards, Jeremy King, I think his name was, and I was with Jimmy J, the promoter, and I was with Drew, who's down with the Keitha and won the duel, who are out here, all residents of Nashville, and we just started talking about some of the hardships that those guys were facing, and they were telling me, we listened to we do something called Good News Thursdays on our show, Heather B and me and Tracy on Shade 45, and in that, it's all testimonials, and it's Shade 45 is a hip-hop station, but in that part, in that segment, I play gospel music or classical music, classic gospel underneath people's testimonials, and just really try to inspire people and keep them encouraged during these hard times. And that's, you work in radio, that's unheard of. You can't really break format. But I'm leveraging all my years of experience and all of those things now. Whatever value I bring, you got to trust me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At this point.
Yeah, you got to trust me, you know. And them last night was like, man, we love that. Whatever you doing, don't stop doing it. You helped me get through a passing in my family. We were listening to y'all one day. The security guard was like, man, you got to keep going. You don't understand, man. I smile when I listen to you. I even shed a tear.
Yeah.
You know, and so I learned that Nashville has a very tight-knit family. You know, you guys had some losses in the music industry recently, right?
Tay Keith. And they would talk, they all knew Tay Keith. Yeah. One was like, yeah, he was at the club 4 days prior. Another person told me, man, I just had dinner. Black Rob told me I just had dinner with him a day before. And, you know, Drew was saying, yeah, my good friend is one of the firemen who had to discover him. And all I could think is, wow, man, this is a beautiful place, how people are kind of galvanized, supporting each other, coming together in these times. That's beyond industry, bro. That's beyond the club. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's beyond the title, the DJ, the on-air person out, the producer. That's just humanity. So that's what I get from Nashville, from my experiences. Yeah. You know, I know Nashville got many sides to it. But from my experience, it's loving, man. This is what I begin a lot of, just seeing the love between people, the camaraderie. Yeah. I can't wait to get back on there next week. I'm gonna talk about you.
No, that's love.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Love. That's
man.
love.
Absolutely.
I love that because I think that's kind of like what allowed me to stay in Nashville. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And you know how the A is,
oh my
right?
God.
Yeah. So
town?
yeah. So when I came to Nashville on that basketball scholarship, graduated, ended up becoming Mr. Tennessee State University. And just having that family outside of family, right? I think that's kind of like what made me stay in Nashville. So everything that you're saying is actual factual. So
yeah, man.
You know, that's the reason why I'm here. I got to jump into it. Sway ain't got the answers, but I feel like Sway do have the answers.
Okay, all right.
When you talk to all of these artists and you interview these artists, being able to deal with the psychological impact that comes after these interviews, the emotional attachments that come after these interviews, how do you deal with that?
JG, my gosh, man, that's a very insightful, extremely insightful, intuitive question. And that gives me an understanding of where you come from to even point that out. Most people don't even consider that.
Right.
It's almost like I could liken it to, this is an extreme analogy comparison. But when I worked at MTV, during that time period, there were a few times that the country went to war. Early 2000s, there was a war called Shock and Awe, after they bombed the Twin Towers in New York City and Philadelphia, and then D.C., the Pentagon. And one of my assignments was to talk to people who were coming back from tour from being in Iraq and Afghanistan, and so these young soldiers were coming back 19, 20 years of age, and we're in their face and we're interviewing them, and at about 2 minutes in, I realized something ain't right.
Right, yeah.
What's going on, man? Like, is this dude cool? Right?
Yeah.
And what they would do is bring these folks back, and there wasn't a lot of programs to transition back into civilian lifestyle, to go from one extreme to the next, to take in all that they saw, tragedy, trauma, and then to be expected to kind of just blend back into society. You needed a warm down. You needed maybe a therapist or some type of counseling. I dare say with some of these interviews that at least the ones I've had, that I probably needed that. Some of them, some of the big ones, when people are really talking about their lives and the trauma, if you really invested in it, you're taking on that too. You're absorbing it the same way you would absorb light, or the same way you would absorb energy. You're absorbing that energy. And so a lot of what I learned to do, bro, depending on the interview, is after each interview, some of the bigger ones, I would step outside and I would take a walk, and believe it or not, I'll pray.
Yeah.
I would pray on it, because I always felt like my role in all of this is I'm a tool. That's all I see it as now. I'm a servant. I'm a tool, to my purpose. And sometimes that requires you to take on, not every interview is like that, but the ones you're talking about, I always shake it off, get out the room, look at the sky, remind myself about basic things, nature, that sort of thing. There's been some interviews where I had to go downstairs in the building. I thought I wanted a drink.
Yeah.
Like, because you got to get that stuff off you.
Yeah.
And the thing now in this day and age in the digital space, it never leaves you. So it's interviews that are circulating from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't even, it's like, man, I don't even look like the same guy, right? And so I could look at the interview and go, man, this kid was out here getting it, right?
Yeah.
But then when you resurface these old Jay-Z interviews, or these old Eminem interviews, or these older interviews, all these different interviews, the energy doesn't die. And so now you relive it, over and over it again. So you have to protect yourself. It's not as simple as I got the headline.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go viral tomorrow.
Yeah,
you're gonna go viral tomorrow, but it's gonna stick with you
for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life, right?
What moment did you realize that though? Like, Because I know people go into the game like, man, I want that clip, right? Or I need that moment. Because everybody wants that moment. They want that home run.
Yeah.
When did you realize, it ain't always about the home run? Like,
man, when I understood what comes with the home run, so the home run was different prior to the digital age. So the home run became a grand slam. In the digital age happening. So around 2009, 2010, and when everything you say can and will be held against you.
Yeah.
The in crowd.
What would you, over 30 years in the game, I mean, what would your now self tell your first day on a job self?
You were right.
Fire.
That's what I say. Because when I first, when you're young, you're kind of ignorant. How they say ignorance is bliss. You think you know it all, you think you got it all, or you think you got what it takes. And I thought, man, we're going to bring, me and my partner, King Tech, going to bring something to the game that the game needs, that they don't have, and that only we can do. And I would tell my younger self, you were right. You did it, But the purpose changed along the way. We wanted to achieve things. Now we want to just give and contribute to things.
How do you know along the way, talking to a younger personality or somebody that's looking up to you, how do you know along? Because sometimes, things can be good. They can seem good. Everything can be going good. You can be making money. How do you know when to make pivots, though? Although you're still making money, your name is getting, bigger than it was yesterday. How do you know, okay, it might be my time to pivot into a different direction? Still focus on the small things over here, but pivot into a different direction.
Man, that's a great question, JG. I think you got to stay curious.
Yeah.
Right. And you got to be a master of your environment, your surroundings. You can't be a one-trick pony, so you don't want to limit yourself, and you want to be multifaceted. So, for example, the in crowd is a concept, an ideal that really came to birth when you was back in college, right?
Exactly.
And you grew it, and what it was in the beginning ain't the same thing as what it is today, right?
Yep.
And somehow you knew in the middle of that, I got to do this different now. Maybe I should jump on the radio. How can that help the in-crowd movement? Maybe I'll go out and host some things. Maybe I'll create a charity. I got the Callaway Foundation charity. Something told me a couple years ago, you need to create your foundation so that all of this exposure you have won't go to waste, and you can pass it on to other people. So by staying curious, being aware of your surroundings, for example, with radio, we know radio started changing over a decade ago. Some people got caught off guard. At the height of what I was doing, I was still trying to do other things, create the YouTube channel, create the media network, create the promotion marketing company, do all of these different things that spiked my interest, that it was aligned with what my goals and things were. And then, trust your instincts and your intuition. But I try to stay curious, and I'm not upset when I try things and they don't work out, and I don't hold myself hostage to an idea that didn't fully blossom. That didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. What's my next idea?
Yeah.
So not being scared of failure, because failure is just a learnable moment. That's how I kind of trust my instincts on, hey, it's time to, let's go do bigger type things.
Yeah.
I wanted to start covering politics and not just, music, and that introduced me to an entirely whole new world. I want to go travel and cover scenes around the world, France, the Netherlands, Japan, did all of those different things. But all of those different things introduced me to new audiences in those areas. And so it's trusting your instincts, being sharp. If I were now, I probably would make sure, control your vices, whatever those may be. Some mine probably was a little bit of sometimes I put things off a little too long. What do you call that? Procrastination.
Yeah,
procrastination.
Yeah.
That became a vice.
Yeah.
So just being intuitive and trusting the instinct, man, and learning everything about your craft, right? And even when you don't want to get up to do it, man, put a smile on your face.
And go do it.
Go do it.
Yeah.
Show gratitude to the craft.
Yeah.
You don't want to do the craft, but the craft needs you to do it.
Exactly.
Show gratitude, get up when you're tired, sometime, and then go to sleep earlier the next day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got to work on that one.
No, I seen you last night at the party. I came after you and left before you, man. That was crazy.
Exactly. What was the no back then that became a yes?
MTV.
Yeah,
MTV. I said no maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
That was a big deal in my career. Yeah, that was it. And it turned out to be a great yes.
Yes, yeah. Out of all the artists that's came, because I've listened to a few of them, you might not be able to give me one, but I need one. Who has been your favorite freestyle moment?
I won't say favorite because they change.
Yeah.
Because I could tell you,
give me the decades then. First decade in it.
First decade, Supernatural. Second decade, Supernatural and Juice and Corrupt.
Okay.
Second decade, Supernatural, Juice, Corrupt, and Eminem. First decade.
Okay.
Second decade, I'm trying to remember the kid name. Damn, he's the funniest dude. Oh, Riff Raff.
Okay.
I couldn't remember Riff Raff. King Los, Lupe Fiasco, Mr. FAB, Common, Black Thought. What do you want me to say, bro? I'm not gonna say one is better than the other. Yeah. All of them I've seen all these dudes come up there and just
go crazy.
In the name of the culture, right? And you continue to see it. You continue to see it all the time.
How'd you get into that? Like, what made you be like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna have him come on and freestyle?
That was just a part of the culture, man. When growing up watching, Beat Street or watching, movies like Breaking and Wild Style. And Wild Style, one of the first hip hop movies ever made. That's what they did. They had ciphers, so you learned that, okay, we got to have ciphers. Here's a little story that must be told about 2 cool brothers that was put on hold. We had to order the famous battle they did in Wild Style with the Cold Crush brothers in the park, So that was kind of put into us at a younger age, and it was fun to do in the 90s when we were on the radio. And one of the things I wanted to do when I came to Shade 4-5 is bring all the basic fundamentals back. And during the morning show, having a cipher was just unheard of. You can't do that, but this is satellite radio.
Yeah.
This ain't terrestrial radio. So we should be able to bend the rules. So everything about that show, the Sway in the Morning Show, is bending the rules, going against the status quo. We talk about God. We talk about politics. We talk about personal stuff. We talk about it all. I think when you're in a creative space, you can't have those kind of shackles or limitations and reach your fullest potential. And if your audience is responding well to it, and if it's nurturing and people are being empowered and uplifted in it, or excited or motivated by it, to me is good. And the freestyle thing was really my homage to hip hop as a culture that was getting lost in the narratives of lyrics don't matter. Oh, I don't freestyle for free. I'm not a real rapper. I'm just trying to get this money. And that's fine for everybody who feels that, if that's how they feel. But for me, lyrics do matter. And when you rap, if you rap, then you're a rapper.
Exactly.
All right. And it is for the culture. And the reason why we empower the culture, because the culture empowers so many. Culture empower you, me, everybody in this room has gotten motivation and inspiration by something that's come from hip hop. And so if we don't nurture that for the generations to come, then they lose a power source that they could utilize to help push the community further. So it's a bigger thought process for me now, being in it so long. I see it differently, than I saw it as you evolve. You just started your show here on the station. How long ago? A month ago?
A year ago.
A year ago?
Yep, a year ago. Yep. July 4th last year.
A year and a month ago.
Yep.
Right, a year and a month ago. And what you've learned in this time slot, 6 to 10, which is that's a heavyweight. You're the character of the city. You're the person people listen to when they land, and they're like, I'm trying to, what's popping in Nashville?
Yeah.
Let's go listen to JG. He got the in crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And so to you, you probably have a bigger responsibility than just talking 30 seconds in between breaks, to get to the next song.
Exactly.
For me, it's been decades, so how I look at things might be a little broader view and I've been, by the grace of God, been able to accomplish a lot. So my view might be a little more expansive. My purpose has changed now. It's I don't do it for the accolades. I don't do it for the respect, but I wholly appreciate it. When you said your words last night, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna see you." That's my word.
Yeah.
Because your words resonated with me. Same with Cash Rules and same with Walk. When words resonate with me, then it's my duty to say, hey, man, if that man asks me to come in this space, let me feed that space too, because he's feeding mine.
Right.
This is what's the word, Jen? And when the two relationships mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
That's the business term. Mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
Everybody benefits
from
symbiotic.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
It's going back and forth. Reciprocity. When Lauren said that word reciprocity in one of these songs of Miseducation, we had to go to the dictionary and what does she mean by reciprocity? And so that's how I see things differently. I walk around cities by myself. And I get loved by the people in the cities,
So did you ever meet, I'm pretty sure you did, you met DMX before?
DMX was somebody I met, plenty of times.
Yeah. So DMX actually came to Nashville, and he was here recording his album. And he stopped by one of my clubs. And they was like, yo, DMX outside. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it must be a guy in the city that calls himself DMX or something. I walk outside and it's actually DMX. We kick it forever. Every single day when he's out here, and literally was an angel on earth is what I kind of call it, man. He was walking around the city by himself with his two right-hand mans, talking to everybody, showing love to everybody. And I say that to say that, seeing you move, it's kind of like that same energy and that same spirit.
Wow,
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
bro. Yeah. So being able to see that from somebody like yourself, I think it's always inspirational, especially to guys growing up. And just stay that way.
Oh, thank you, Jay. I got you.
Yeah, it's so many other people who are the other way.
Yeah.
So to be able to see it in the flesh, I definitely appreciate that. I got to ask you, because you bring up God. What was your come to God moment?
Oh, wow. Man, when I was maybe about 6 years old, I used to live with my great auntie who was from Louisiana, and she used to make me read the Bible, force me to read things I didn't understand. And I remember I came to her and said, hey, I want to be baptized. And she said, why? I didn't expect that. Why? I remember this in my mind. What is it? Why? Why? And I paused and I said, because I want to be saved. Right? She said, okay, but how are you living? I'm 6, bro. I said, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And she said, well, you need to strive for divinity. And strive for divinity. And I remember not understanding what she meant and asking her, well, what does that mean? You got to walk the path that God laid, right? And to me, that was my, at a young age, come to God moment that I didn't understand until I got older. And every time I faced adversity, that's what I would fall into, striving for divinity. And to me, it seemed to cleanse the chaos out of my life. And things became more simple. And when you strive for divinity, it's really following your heart. You know the answers, right? We to any question, the answers are in you. You just got to activate them and find them. And the best way to do that is eliminate the chaos, and function from a place of love. That's what strive for divinity. meant to me. And so whenever I would get into situations and I find myself, I'm from Oakland, so I got sides to me, and I find myself swimming in that dark current, and fortunately enough for me, before it's too late, I always find myself and I start striving for divinity. So when I walk, I walk with God, I walk within me. I feel that I've always had a protection about me. Even when I played sports, I just felt like I was watched over. When I navigate through this business and been through all these challenges and personal challenges, I just, at the end of the day, sometimes when I face the biggest traumas is when I smile the widest. It's like, here we go again, huh? So I got the answer for that. And it always comes back to love for me and striving for divinity. So that was at an early age, a moment that happened that I've been able to attach myself to at a later age.
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. What you, Jen? That's your artist? Well, thank you for that question, man. You asked great questions, JG.
No, I appreciate that. Coming from you, that mean a lot, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
Those words right there are golden. I feel like I can stop now.
I am.
Look, Sway said I'm good. Sway said I'm good. As long as Sway say I'm good. Look,
that's great. Well, I look at it. I don't really do interviews,
right.
And a lot of times when I do them, unfortunately I've had to ask some people, please don't air certain things.
Yeah,
because I just get comfortable with a person, but it's certain stuff I don't want to have in this,
which is fair,
sphere, right? Because of what people do with it. A lot of folks aren't responsible with your legacy, and so I don't want to give it to folks. I've seen what people do with, making it. It's just a clip, It's just a moment of metrics.
Yeah.
Let me see. Sway said this, so let me see how many. Eyes get on it, and this stuff is way more meaningful. The reason why, speaking with you, I can feel that your questions are sincere, right? And when you ask me about what do you do after a big interview, how do you come down off of that? That's how I know, you're in the know. People just do this stuff and keep it moving like, but this stuff has, like you drink water?
Yeah.
Or like you watch something on the screen, when you have these conversations, it's all food coming. You're absorbing this stuff. It's in your mind. It's something in your mind can shock your body.
Yep.
And so learning that as I got older, I'm very selective of who's coming on the show. Plus, I got my co-host, Heather B., who's even more intuitive. Heather open her eyes. Watch out, there's a bus coming, and 10 seconds later, a bus come through the door. You know what I mean? So,
it's really a bus.
A bus? So we're very cognizant of what we're doing right now. So
the In Crowd.
King Tech and I, my partner, of just as you bring up the culture, we've been doing events to kind of preserve the culture and then teach it to those who are maybe younger and didn't understand why the beat boy sector of breaking and was important, or why the tag, the graffiti sector was important, the DJing, turntable skills, as well as the MCing. So the full encompassing of the culture is what we do. And we got an event August 22nd in LA called For the Culture. And we're going to honor, and they're going to perform Pharoah Monch from Organized Confusion, Black Thought from The Roots, DJ Cash Money out of Philly, Exhibit, and Cypress Hill is going to headline it. So they'll be performing, and we're going to honor them. And we got breakers that are going to perform. And we created our own network, SKT Network. So, JG, I need you to download the app, and all those who are in the In Crowd, if you're in the In Crowd, download SKT Network on your app. On your phone, all phones, SKT Network. And you can see a lot of the footage that we talked about from the 90s is on that network all the way to 2026. And we built that. So we're cultural engineers, not just cultural, creators. So
fire.
If you can incorporate that in whatever you do, I appreciate it.
No, yeah, for sure. I got you. We locked in. I appreciate you, Mr. Sway.
The In Crowd.